important lessons that you've learned in life?
I would say so far, the biggest one is like not taking life seriously.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Like
that was the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, well, we're like the same person, so that makes sense.
What kind of problems do you want to help solve when you are a grown-up? What are your thoughts on people who are born in the 1980s, like me and your mom? What do you think? Do you think we're cool?
No.
Why? What do you think it is about us that's not cool?
Because this generation is cooler than that generation.
Oh, my burn. My goodness. Welcome back, everybody. This is the All of You podcast where we sit down with all of you. And today we are extending the olive branch to 4 very special guests. I have with me today Isla, Mava, Cicely, and Neela, who are OBM's resident Gen Alphas. Oh my goodness. Are you a Gen Z?
Last generation.
2012? I don't know if that calculates as Gen Z, does it? Thank you for correcting. Hey, why don't you put the mic up to your mouth when you're talking about being a Gen Z, little Gen Zer? Okay, so I have 1 baby Gen Z and 4 Gen Alphas on the pod today. How exciting is that? Is it? 2013. Production just confirmed for me. 1997 to 2013. Is that 1997 to 2013? Awesome. Okay, so what year do you think I was born in, Isla?
I think you're born in. Wait, how old are you?
I can't tell you that. You have to tell me what year you think I was born.
Like
35. Okay, that's great guess. Great guess. Nail on the head. You hit the nail right on the head.
if you're 37
Do some
and
math.
my mom's 41, she was born in 1983. I think.
That's great math. That's very good Gen Z. They're teaching you something in school. All right. 7?
I think you're born 1980. I think you're born in 1986.
1987, 37, 1987. Yeah, good guess, good guess. Okay, so how about my friend Cicely? Or Cece. Do you prefer Cece over Cicely?
Yes.
Cece, you got it, anytime. Cece, I want you to tell me, what do you think about people who are born in the 80s? What are your thoughts on people who are born in the 1980s, like me and your mom? What do you think? Do you think we're cool?
No.
Why? What do you think it is about us that's not cool?
Because this generation is cooler than that generation.
Oh, my burn. My goodness. How about Mava? What do you think of people who were born in the 1980s?
Well, some people are cool, but some really aren't.
Oh, what makes somebody cool?
First of all, their house has to be preppy and aesthetic.
Does that mean that I'm cool?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've got a preppy and aesthetic house. Okay, so maybe this is a good opportunity then for me to clarify the definition of preppy. Because when you guys came into the ballroom, we call this the ballroom. When you came into the ballroom, you said, "This is so preppy." And I'm thinking, what do you mean preppy? Because when I was your age, the idea of being preppy meant that you wore really like fancy clothes and you were always really put together and maybe you wore glasses and carried maybe an expensive bag. What does preppy mean to you?
Preppy to me means, so there's a difference between preppy and aesthetic.
Okay.
Aesthetic. Preppy is like very like vibrant colors, like smiley faces and like patterns and stuff.
Okay.
And aesthetic is more like neutral colors, like green and like beige and like your house basically.
Oh, okay.
And it really has like a theme, like kind of like like outdoors, like because you have like plants everywhere and stuff. So like green and like beiges and stuff.
Okay.
But then there's also like Halloween, like fall style, which is like what's happening right now, which is like orange and like also beiges, but it really has like everything's matching.
I love
and it's
that.
like style.
That's kind of my whole mission is to match. I like color coordinating things. I really like, I don't know, finding cute little trinkets and things to put around the house. How about Cece? What do you think the definition of preppy is? I'm going to ask all of you what you think your definition of preppy is.
I think the definition of preppy is vibrant colors. It means you stand out and you're organized.
Stand out and organized. Okay, I love that. Neela, what do you think? How about you see the mic there from Mava? What do you think the definition of preppy is in your words?
Actually, I didn't really know what preppy is.
Really? Me neither. We're the same. Is there a different word that you use often that maybe me and your mom wouldn't understand or wouldn't know the definition of it?
Slay.
Slay. Oh, okay. Tell me about that one. What does the word slay mean to you?
It's kind of hard to explain. It's like,
Is it kind of like a vibe? Like slay queen?
yeah.
Yeah? So it's like my understanding of slay is you would say slay queen when somebody looks really good, on point, like their outfit is really nice. Does that make sense? Yeah? Am I on the right track? Yeah? All right, my girl at the end, Mava. Tell me a word that you use regularly in your day-to-day conversation that you think I wouldn't know the definition to.
Okay. There's this one word. It's called gayat.
Gayat?
Yep.
Okay.
Or you can say gyat.
Gyat? What does that mean?
So a lot of people use it as like you have a level 1000 gyat. It means your butt.
Your butt?
Yeah.
Kind of like a big juicy butt?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like today, for example, I had a soccer tournament, and this guy's brother was there, and this girl said he had a level 1000 gyat.
Gyat? Level 1000. Can you have like a level 500 gyat?
Yeah,
Oh,
but it
okay,
means
okay.
your
That's
gyat
just
is
not
very
as,
small.
like juicy, I guess.
Yeah, and if someone has like a flat granny saggy butt, like that's like a one gyat, like my mom's butt.
Okay. I can't even remember what we used to call big booties. Like, I think it was just like a badonk. A badonkadonk.
We also sometimes use
You
that.
sometimes badonkadonk?
Oh, look at that badonk.
Look at that badonk. Right? Like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you have other words in your repertoire that you can share. How about Cece? Can you give me a word that I wouldn't know the definition to?
Sigma.
That's one I don't know. What is sigma? Sigma is like an arithmetic or like something from math. No?
I know what it means.
No, give Cece a chance. What do you think? What's sigma?
Well, I actually know another one, and it's called Riz.
Riz? Tell me what Riz is. Somebody, maybe Isla, you can tell me what sigma is after.
So Riz is like if you made a joke, and it's like, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see.
Oh, so kind of like you have game. Like you're really smooth. Like you're a smooth talker, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Let's go back to sigma. Isla, what's sigma all about?
Okay.
So sigma means like good. So if you say like, oh yeah, that's so sigma, it means like, oh yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I could say, this is a real sigma vibe right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like it means it's
All
a good
right.
vibe.
Any other words? I heard one recently, and I waited to get the definition until I was sitting down with you because I wanted to know if you could give me the definition in your own words. What about the word skibbity?
Oh, okay.
What's skibbity? Okay, Neela, tell me what's skibbity.
Skibbity.
Can you use it in a sentence? Use the word skibbity in a sentence.
Like usually some people say in our school like you're so skibbity.
So skibbity. But what does that mean?
It means that like
Like you're silly or you're cool?
you're bad. Like it's bad.
Oh, like you're bad. You're a bad boy. Okay. Skibbity doo wop bop ba doo doo shebang. That's what I think of skibbity. I don't know.
Skibbity doesn't mean like a bad person. It means like bad. Like if you say that's so skibbity, it's like that's bad.
Like badass. Pardon my French. Maybe I should not say A words in front of the Buck girls.
We hear it a lot.
Skibbity doo wop skibbity. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the skibbity. Yeah, Cece.
Skibbity dop.
Skibbity dop.
Skibbity toilet.
Skibbity toilet. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to move down to Mava. I've got a question for you, Mava. What do you think the hardest thing is about being a grown-up in 2024?
Like you guys?
Yeah, like you, me, your mom, Shanzi, Sham. What do you think is the hardest thing for us as women, as adults in today's world? What do you think?
I think it's probably sometimes work
Oh, okay.
and like financial stuff because like there's been like the money is really increased on things.
Absolutely. Cost of living, right?
Yeah. And I also think it's probably hard if you have kids.
Okay. What makes it hard to have kids in today's world?
Well, first of all, I think it's because the more kids you have, like the more it costs like to keep them alive.
Yeah, you guys are expensive. Isla, do you have any thoughts on what it is like to be a grown-up in today's society?
So I think that like before they're like, are you talking about like women and stuff?
Just to be a grown-up woman in today's society, what do you think the hardest thing is?
Like it's not like women rights have gotten better, I guess. So like women are like allowed to work now and stuff. So I guess it's not really about like what women aren't allowed to do, but I think it's really hard because like my mom works a lot. She doesn't get to spend that much time with her children because usually she's like going to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's a really good insight because when you talk about how expensive it is, right, to buy groceries and think every single fun thing that you ladies do, your mom and your dad have to pay for that, right? So maybe that's a good thing for us to talk about. So what kind of things, we'll go down the line. We'll start with you. Maybe we'll start with the youngest, Neela. What are some extracurricular things that you do for fun? How do you spend your time outside of school?
gymnastics.
Ooh, I do gymnastics.
You do gymnastics?
Yeah.
You're a very good gymnast too. I see you on social media doing all your bar work. It's incredible. Do you do any other things extracurricular? Just gymnastics?
Yeah, I also used to do swimming, which I think I'm going to do it again.
Nice. But I think gymnastics takes up a lot of time anyway, right? Like you do that quite a bit? Yeah? Okay, next in line, Cicely, what do you do outside of school?
Well, I do hockey.
Hockey?
And I watch lots of television.
Okay, what position do you play on your hockey team?
Well, I like left wing
Okay.
and defense.
And defense? Okay, and what kind of shows do you watch on TV? All of them. Do you have a favorite?
Sam and Cat.
Sam and Cat. I don't know that one. Is that on Disney or where is that? Is this
Netflix.
regular Netflix? Okay, very good. Okay. Maeva, what do you do outside of school?
Well, I do hockey.
Right up to the mic.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I do hockey.
Uh-huh.
And that's like my winter sport. And then in the summer, I do soccer.
Okay.
And I think a couple of days ago, I tried out for a rep soccer team.
Whoa.
I also recently had hockey tryouts, and I made the rep team too.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. Little athletes. Okay, Isla, tell me, what do you do outside of school? How do you like to spend your time?
Okay, so a lot of people already know this, but I do this thing called Junior Glee.
Junior Glee.
And there was these tryouts, and there were like over 500 auditions, and somehow I got in. I don't know.
Wow, you are a
like-
superstar.
On top of that, I did not think I was gonna get a solo in Glee, but I did.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, so
Proud of you.
I'm more of like a theater girl, but I also do sports like during school. Like I recently made the soccer team in school, and I'm trying out for basketball and volleyball, but I don't know if I made those teams yet.
Okay, that's how much work goes into junior glee? Like how many, I guess, practices or how many times do you have to meet in the week before you do your grand performance?
So I don't know how many times exactly until the performances, but I know there's actually a lot of performances. There's 10, and it's actually every week. It's every Saturday, and it's usually like 3 hours, I'd say.
Wow.
Or 4 hours.
That's a really long commitment. So let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your mom and your dad, they both work their jobs all day long, right? And then when they get done work, they come and they take you guys, all 4 of you, to your different activities. How do you think they keep track of it all? Maeva, what do you think? How do you think they keep track of it all?
Well, they have this app in their phone, and it's a calendar.
Okay.
And it reminds them because my mom forgets a lot of things.
Okay.
And I also think that they remember,
Do you help them? Do you help keep track of things? Or is it all up to them to keep track of everything?
well, sometimes they help because now I know what days this girl has gymnastics.
This girl.
Really so long. It's literally 5 hours every practice.
Wow, my goodness.
Yeah, it's so much.
Okay, I've got another question for each one of you. I'd like to hear your answer for each one of you. What kind of problems do you want to help solve when you are a grown-up? So think about some of the problems that you've kind of heard about maybe in the news, or maybe you hear mom and dad or other grown-ups kind of talking about problems in the world. Can you think of maybe some problems that you would like to help fix for the future? What do you think is the most important? Isla, go ahead.
So I actually did this thing last year. It's called Jimmy, and it was actually where you try to help like things in the world. And we were originally going to do this project where we were going to make like a big screen, and it was going to be like on the side of the roads, and it basically helps like in the areas where there's poverty and like
Kind of like a billboard sign?
yeah, but it's not a billboard because it's like a screen, like a tech.
What's going to be on the screen?
So there's gonna be like food places where they like have extra food so that the
Oh, kind of like an information screen.
yeah, so that the people that like need food can go get the extra food that they still have.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it also shows them where the like nearest like hospital is and stuff, so that if they ever get like injured or anything, they can go there.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. Kind of like a public service information board. So if you don't know the answer, and if you are homeless and you don't have a cell phone, then the big screen, you could go to the big screen and find the information that you need. That's a brilliant idea. What was the pitch?
Well, that was actually a different idea that we had. It was on this program that we would do at our high school, which was to help people that like have disabilities or like have trouble learning.
Wow.
So they would they would get paired with someone in high school and then someone in elementary school. They would work together like on a screen.
Okay.
And then once a week, like probably every Friday, they would take a bus to go to the elementary school or the high school that they go to, and they would like meet in person and like kind of tutor them. But yeah, and
That sounds great. That sounds very inventive. Okay, I'm going to get you to pass the mic to Cicely. Cicely, what kind of problems do you want to help solve when you're a grown-up to make the world a better place for the future?
Well, when I grow up, my job hopefully is going to be the prime minister.
I hope so. I hope you're the prime minister. What do you think about our current prime minister?
I think I would be a better prime
You
minister.
think you would be a better prime minister? Do you know who our prime minister is?
Is it Justin Trudeau?
It's Justin Trudeau. Will have we ever had a female prime minister? That's a really ignorant question. She wasn't elected, yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I would love for you to be prime minister. I'm going to start your campaign right now. We're going to start campaigning for you to be prime minister as soon as possible.
And my mom thought it was a good idea because I'm good at winning conversation.
Well, that's incredible. That maybe if you're not prime minister, maybe you could also consider being a lawyer or a politician of some kind.
And when I'm older, there will probably be more bigger problems.
Like what? What kind of bigger problems do you imagine there to be?
Water might be $100.
The cost of water. Yeah. In certain parts of our province and in certain parts of our country, rather, it's actually more expensive to buy water than it is to buy a case of pop. So in certain parts of our country, people won't have clean drinking water and they'll just be forced to drink soda all the time. Do you think that's good for their health? No, that's not good for their health, is it? It's probably, you're probably spot on. You're probably thinking about the right things if you're worried about.
Hoping to lower all the prices.
You're hoping to lower all the prices. Do you have any ideas on how to make that happen?
No tax.
No taxes? Oh my, I can't wait for you to be prime minister. That'll be great. Okay, how about you, Maeva? What kind of problems do you want to help solve for us to have a better future?
Well, when I'm older, I either want to be a hockey player or a nurse. So I feel like if I was a nurse, I would try to
Do you know what kind of nurse? Because you can be a nurse and do a lot of things. Is there a certain kind of patient population that maybe you'd like to work with?
Well, some of them are like either being what is it called? Oh yeah.
You want to work with old people, you want to work with young people, you want to work with people with mental health issues, you want to work with people in a hospital. Where would you
Probably people in a hospital. I really want to be like a brain surgeon.
Wow, like a scrub. Okay, so if you want to be a brain surgeon, you would be in the operating room. You could also be a scrub nurse if you wanted. So a scrub nurse is when the surgeon goes in to do brain surgery. He can't do it on his own, right? He needs a team. And so if you're a scrub nurse, you actually are like his right-hand person where you pass all of the tools that he needs or he or she needs while she's performing the surgery. So you could be that person who's like the expert in all of the surgical tools. That would be pretty cool.
And I also maybe want to work with like people with like mental health issues, like I don't know if it's called mental health problems, like autism.
Oh, like neurodivergent people. Maybe.
Yeah. Neuro something. Yeah.
Because you understand the difference between being neurotypical and neurodivergent. Do you know that?
I think so. I actually have no clue.
Neurotypical are people whose brains just work regular. They have normal circuits in their brains, whereas neurodivergent people are people who are autistic or those who have ADHD because your brain is wired differently than a neurotypical person's brain. So to be able to be a nurse or a social worker or an occupational therapist to work with neurotypical people, that would be really special too, because we're finding a lot more people are being diagnosed as neurodivergent, right?
Yeah. Like one of my friends, she has autism and like it's like really hard for her.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I feel bad.
What are some of the things that she struggles with?
Well, it's really hard for her to like know what emotion she's having.
Oh, okay.
And like sometimes it's really hard for her to like be in a conversation.
Yeah? Does she get nervous? Does she get scared? Does she get sad?
She gets all the emotions.
All of those things. And maybe you can tell what feelings she's feeling, but she can't regulate her emotions.
Yeah. She gets angry really easily too.
Oh, you're a really good friend for being so insightful to her. I think that if you stay friends with her, I think she's really lucky to have you. That's really nice. Okay, Neela, over to you, my sweet pea. What kind of problems do you want to help fix for the future so that we can have a better future when you're grown up? Or what would you like to be for your profession when you're grown up? A gymnast? You want to go to the Olympics? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would? Anything else you would like to do? Anything else you're passionate about?
If when I'm retired from gymnastics, I would probably be a coach.
Oh, okay. That's great. So you see yourself staying in gymnastics all the way until you're gray and old. Yeah? Is that the plan? No? What else would you like to do?
I would probably like quit when I'm like in my 20s.
Okay. That's realistic.
And then I would probably be a coach and help people who do.
Nice. I love that. That's really special. Very good. Okay. So when you guys came into my home, you said, wow, this place is so cool. So tell me, we'll start with you, Isla. What do you think it's going to be like to have your own home? What kind of home do you want to have in the future when you're ready to either get your own apartment or your own home? What is your dream home going to be like?
Okay. First of all, I'm definitely gonna have my own room. Like, I don't want no man sleeping with me. Yeah. And like, I really want my own room because right now I sleep with her, like in a bed, and I don't want to do that. So, and if I had like an apartment or something,
would you want an apartment over a house? You have all the money in the world. You can have whatever.
all
kind
the
of house
money
you
in the
want.
world. Okay, then I would want a mansion.
A mansion, okay. And how would you decorate your mansion?
Okay, so it would definitely be like aesthetic, like your place, and it would have like amazing chandeliers, like your place, and it would have like a staircase with like it goes like out each side. You know, there's like a
I know what you
thing
mean.
there, and then
Yeah,
like staircase,
Beautiful.
yeah, and it would have like plants everywhere because I love plants. I'm actually growing plants. I'm growing a pepper and basil.
Wow.
And I think dill.
Good for you. A whole little herb garden. That's great. How about you, Cicely? When you are grown up and you live on your own, what's your dream house going to be like?
My dream house is having like all my tables are marble
Okay.
and then like white decor
Yes.
with gold and green.
Gold and green, marble. Oh, girl, you got some good taste. That sounds really nice.
And I'll have like lots of plants because I love plants.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
And it would be a house.
Going to be a house, not an apartment?
And it would have like brown details too.
Okay. Love it. Love that. Mila, what about you? Your dream home. What is your dream home going to look like when you're grown up?
Mine would be like a really big house, but not a mansion. Because if I had kids, I would have to clean a lot.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
And like, it would be like probably the theme the cottage that you guys went to.
Oh, like the little pink cottage? You like that aesthetic?
Yeah, like
Nice.
the walls are like pink,
Yeah.
and like there's plants.
Uh-huh. I love it. You guys have great taste. How about you, Mava? What's your dream home going to look like when you're grown up?
My dream home is probably like when Neela won, like not too, like not very big, but like not very.
Like a modest size home. Yeah. Okay.
I would also probably want like marble counters.
Marble. Okay.
The floors would probably be checkers.
I love that. Black and white checker? That's nice. Very good.
I would probably have some plants, but not like too many,
Okay.
because I feel like they'd be hard to water.
They are hard to water. I have a lot of plants. They're hard to keep up with. So tell me, how much do you think your home, when you are ready to buy a home, how much do you think it's going to cost? Isla, how much do you think your dream home is going to cost?
Probably because like it's gonna be more, I think.
Definitely with inflation, right? Unless Cece becomes prime minister, then
If Cece becomes prime minister, like $1. But she probably not. Sorry, Cece, but you probably won't.
I think you will, Cece. I have faith in you.
And so I think it's gonna be around like. My dream home would be around $300 million.
$300 million. Holy doodle.
Yeah.
How about you, Cece? How much is your home going to cost? How much is your home going to cost, Cece?
I I'd say $10,000.
$10,000. Okay, very good. How about you, Neela? How much is your dream home going to cost with all the pink walls and all the plants?
Probably like
Guess any number. What do you think? Hard to think, huh? Hard to think how much a house costs.
I mean, it would be pretty big.
Yeah.
So I think like the same as Cece's, $10,000.
Okay, what about you, Maeva? How much is your house going to cost? We've got $300 million, two $10,000 houses. How much is yours?
So, since I want like 3 floors and an attic, I want custom checkered floors, and I want my name. I want my name on the wall, and like probably all the plants and stuff.
Yeah.
Like my house would probably be like $1 to $2 mil.
$1 to $2 million. Okay, very
Hey,
good.
wait. But do you guys even know how much houses cost these days? Like,
How much do houses cost?
Okay,
nowadays? You tell me.
okay, so I've been like looking at the prices because I want a new house, right? I don't want to be sleeping with her anymore. Like you know, online, but like where they are, like near my high school, Thayer Elementary School, like I already know a place between. It's like where my granny and granddad live, and those are decent sized houses. Like those could fit our family.
Okay. And how much do they cost?
Okay, so they probably cost now probably like like 1 mil, 2 mil, but like a mansion now probably like $30 million.
Well, I think it depends on where you live too, right? Like a house in Toronto is way more expensive than a house in this area, like
Yeah, because it's more popular than over here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think the bigger the city too, the more expensive it is usually. That's kind of the general rule.
Like,
is
I
the
feel
bigger
like
the city.
California would be really
Yeah,
expensive.
Calabasas, where the Kardashians live, those houses are all like multiple millions of dollars.
Yeah, they're like on cliffs. They got big pools.
Yeah, infinity pools. Yeah. What do you think, Cece? What do you got to say?
Wait, what was the question?
You just looked like you really had something to say. I was just letting you speak. No question?
Well, I wanted to say if I were to live somewhere,
If you were to live somewhere.
it would be in West Virginia.
West Virginia. What is it about West Virginia that you like so much?
Well, I've gone and we went in like a mansion. It was literally looked like a hotel, but it wasn't. It was all. It had like
The weather good in West Virginia?
it was like fall there.
Okay, nice. Okay, I've got a couple more questions here. We'll start with you, Maeva. You're up. What do you think is something that grown-ups could do better at? When you look at all the grown-ups in your life, or grown-ups on TV, or grown-ups in the news, or grown-ups on social media, what do you think grown-ups could be better at?
Some grown-ups like my dad.
Talking to the mic, love. There you go.
Some grown-ups like my dad, he's not that good at like socializing.
Oh, okay.
And like when he talks after, he always says, so.
So you think that grown-ups could improve their communication style?
Yeah. Also, I feel like they like maybe should be better at oh my gosh, I can't speak.
Do you have one, Cece? I'll come back to you maybe if you think of it. What do you think? What do you think grown-ups could do a better job at?
I think they should be better at not embarrassing their children and better at parenting.
What do grown-ups do to embarrass their children?
Like, sometimes they turn their music way too high when you're getting dropped off at school.
What kind of music are they playing when they do that?
Whatever music's on the radio.
And you find that embarrassing?
Yes.
That's really cute. What about you, Neela? What do you think that grown-ups... Oh, you weren't done, Cece. Sorry. Continue. What else, my love?
Or when they just randomly start singing in the car.
Really?
With the window open.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Yeah, that would be embarrassing for sure. What about you, Neela? What do you think grown-ups could do a better job at doing? Are they good at cleaning? Are they good at driving? Are they good at making decisions? What do you think?
I think my mom should be better at like telling us to do like one thing at a time. She's always like, when we're not done something, she's like, "Oh, now do this," and like I haven't even finished the thing, and it's been like 1 minute, and like
Being more clear?
like packing my lunch. It's been like 1 minute, and I usually have to pack a couple stuff, like
Wow.
quite a lot of stuff.
Do you see Olive? Oh my goodness. Isla, what do you think? Is there anything you can think that grown-ups could do a better job at? You're really insightful. I'm curious to know what you think.
What does insightful mean?
It just means that you've got a good perspective.
Okay, so I think that they should be better at remembering things. So, like,
You've got a lot of things to remember.
I know there's like a calendar and stuff, but even with the calendar, my mom still like manages to forget things. And it's okay, and also I feel like they shouldn't blame us as often. Like oh my gosh, you forgot your bag for gymnastics. Well, like, I'm sorry, but you're the one that gave me that. You're the one that gave me the, like, she birthed me, and she was the one that gave me like the ability to forget things, because she forgets things often.
The forgetful gene?
Yeah. The forgetful gene.
That's funny. Okay, I've got a couple more questions for you all. So first one is, what is one thing that grown-ups do that because you're still a kid, you can't do it yet, but you can't wait to try? Maeve. Drive. Okay. And what kind of car would you drive?
Either like when I have a lot of friends, either like a limo, a Jeep,
A Jeep, okay.
a Lamborghini.
Nice.
'Cause
okay.
If I become like in the OHL like famous,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some big bills.
You might, yeah. You're gonna have lots of cash if you're a super athlete.
Yeah, and like I also might want to drive like a Mercedes,
You've got expensive taste, my friend.
because like they don't like look like they look like kind of like a normal car,
Yeah.
but then you see the inside and it's so cool.
Space age, yeah.
Yeah, and then I also want to drive a Cadillac. But if our like Cadillac Eric stops hurting me, I might want to drive it.
Okay. What do you mean the Cadillac's hurting you?
Okay, so the doors are like very heavy,
Oh.
and then I step in, and let's say I was going to grab something, they always close on my leg.
Oh my goodness. That's the worst.
Yeah, but they have
You
like
really know car brands really well. That's incredible that you know all those different kinds of cars.
yeah.
You know more than I know, I feel. It's crazy.
Yeah, and if I have a lot of kids, I'll probably end up driving like a party bus.
A party bus, that's perfect.
Yeah, because then if
How many kids are you gonna have? Well, if you were to have a lot of kids, how many kids is a lot of kids?
probably like 5, 6, or 7.
Woo-wee, you better have a lot of bills from being a hockey player. My goodness. Okay, let's go to Cece. What is one thing that grown-ups do that you're not allowed to do yet because you're still a kid, but you can't wait to do it?
Work at McDonald's.
Really? You want to work at McDonald's? What position do you want to have at McDonald's? You want to be flipping burgers, or you want to be at the cash, or you want to be in the drive-thru?
I want to make the fries
Oh, okay. You want to be at the deep fry machine.
and then secretly eat them.
That's called stealing.
You steal? No.
You don't steal. Well, I think that in a few years, you could apply to work at McDonald's and they would be lucky to have you. Not sponsored, McDonald's. We would love it if you would, though. Okay, what about you, Neela? What's something that grown-ups do that you're not allowed to do yet because you're still a kid, but you can't wait to do it?
Probably going like they can do like a lot of like they can.
Do whatever they want whenever they want. You want to be able to do that?
Yeah, I know. So I want to go on like bigger roller coasters and like
You're brave. Roller coasters are scary.
I also want to try to go skydiving.
Skydiving. Oh my goodness. That's a brave thing too. Wow. Okay. Isla.
Okay, so I want to do a lot of things, but my number one would probably be driving, because like whenever they're mad, they can just like leave, because there's two of them, first of all, and second of all, they know how to drive. So like whenever my dad gets mad, he just leaves and like does whatever he wants. But when I'm mad, all I have to do is go to my room.
Oh,
and there's
my goodness.
someone else in there usually.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, another thing I want to do is get a job,
Okay.
because I really want money so that I can pay for my own things, because I always ask my mom if I can buy something, and she's like, no, you don't
What
need
kind of things do you want to buy? What kind of things do you need money for?
skincare and makeup.
Skincare and makeup. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so that's like my favorite hobby, and it's like not really a hobby, but it is to me. So
What kind of skincare routine do you currently have?
Okay, so first I cleanse, then I do toner, then I do spray, then I do 2 serums, then I do sometimes a moisturizer.
Wow, that's why your skin is so flawlessly radiant.
I know, I don't want to age like my mom. And she uses retinol and she still has work.
Oh my goodness. Wow, I can't wait for you to watch this back in 20 years. I really can't.
I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to shut it off.
Skincare is really expensive. Does your mom buy your skincare for you? Do you have to do chores to get your skincare?
Well, I don't usually do chores to get money. I usually just do chores to do chores. And because like it's just a good thing to do around the house. And so usually skincare, it's like it's usually if I do something good, like I was in dance before and she was like, oh yeah, if you do really good, I'll buy you this one thing.
What's your favorite skincare brand?
Bubble.
Bubble? I've never heard of that one. What about
It's-
Drunk Elephant? Do you know
Okay,
Drunk Elephant?
Not Drunk Elephant,
No?
because Drunk Elephant, it looks like kids want to buy it. It's like all colorful. It's like, oh yeah, that's good for your skin because it's colorful and it looks like it's for kids, but it's not, okay? It has like retinol, these eye serums that you're not supposed to use. Retinol like damages your skin.
Well, it's for people who already have damage to their skin to like reverse the damage of your skin. So for young girls like you who don't have any damage on your skin yet, precisely. Yeah, precisely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there.
And I also really like makeup.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite hobbies. Can you tell I did my...
I should get you to do my makeup sometime.
Yeah, I know. And my mom's always like watching me.
Yeah,
Do
you
my
watch
makeup.
beauty gurus on
Yeah, why
TikTok
wouldn't I? I watch James Charles all the time.
James Charles and his painted palette. Have you seen his new palette that just came out? Yeah? That's a huge money-making industry too, the makeup industry.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't
What
get
about
anywhere.
Kylie? What do you follow Kylie Skin?
Kylie skin, no.
No?
Kylie makeup, no.
Not even the lip kits, or is that an old
No,
news thing?
it's like, okay, it's getting old and it's not that popular
And she
anymore.
just got her lip filler taken out, right? She doesn't even have lip filler in anymore. She still has a yat. A level 1000 yat. Brazilian butt lift?
How did you know that?
I don't know. Maybe I'm cooler than you think I am. Cece's like, no, not a chance. All right, how about we do one more question? Let's see. Here, I'll ask each of you your own individual question, okay? Who wants to go first? Ooh, I think that was Cece's hand first. What do you think adults should do when they don't know the answer to something? So when an adult doesn't know the answer to something, what do you think they should do?
They should ask me.
I need to get your number. Can I text you anytime? I would really like to have you as my little mentor.
Have any technology because my mom's too poor to buy me some.
No, you're just not mature enough.
Okay, well, when you get a cell phone, I better be the first person you add so I can get advice from you on the regular, okay?
Kids Messenger?
Kids Messenger sounds great. Okay, thank you, Cece. Neela, I haven't heard from you in a minute. Let me ask you your own special question. Do you think being a grown-up means you have to stop having fun? Do you think being a grown-up means you have to stop having fun?
No.
No? How do you think grown-ups have fun? Go to clubs?
They go to the stripper.
Go to the stripper.
They go pole dancing.
Pole dancing? I don't know what kind of adults. What kind of a?
I know. I saw a YouTuber.
Oh, you saw a YouTuber. Okay.
They were like, go to this club.
Mary, what kind of fun do you guys have? Where are you having fun? What do you think? How do you think adults have fun?
Adults could, like, if they don't have enough money to, like, go on vacations, they could, like, go to a restaurant with their kids. That could also quite be fun.
Yeah. What's your favorite restaurant to go out for dinner?
It's a lot of weird restaurants that,
Weird restaurants?
yeah, like Thai and Ethiopian.
Would you like sushi?
No.
No, not sushi. Okay, but Chinese food, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I also like Ethiopian.
Ooh, actually, your mom told me that you guys like Ethiopian food. Oh, yeah, I like Ethiopian. There's an Ethiopian restaurant in Toronto. You could go and you sit on the floor when you eat.
Hot? Nuh-uh. My butt's gonna hurt so much after that.
I would not go there.
Okay, I got a question for Cece. Oh, sorry, Maeva. I think I already asked you a question, didn't I, Cece? Maeva, I've got a question for you. What kind of rules do you think you'll have for your children, all 6, 7, 8, or 9 of them? What kind of rules do you think you'll have for your children?
So my rules for my children first is no Play-Doh or slime on the couch,
Ooh, that's a good one.
either outside or on the counter.
Okay,
And their rooms have to be clean
good.
because whenever the guests come over, I don't want them to see that filthy stuff.
No kidding. Do they have to make their bed every day?
I mean, it's their decision.
I love that, giving them the choice, the autonomy.
Yeah. In their lunches, they have to pack one fruit, one vegetable, and like one like meat or something.
yeah.
Yeah, like to give them protein.
Good for you. Well-balanced diet.
Yeah, and like if they want something sweet, they could have it.
Yeah? Any other rules? What about screen time?
Screen time.
Do you have rules about screen time?
Probably like not after 8:30.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Well, like when they're young, it will probably be like 7:30 because they'll go to bed earlier.
Uh-huh.
Also, like not seeing friends late.
Oh, okay. Even in the summer?
It depends where they're going.
Okay, you're a very reasonable mom. I love that. Very level-headed. That's perfect. What do you think, Cece? You got something to say?
She's not a mother yet.
She's not a mother yet, but she's thinking about the kind of rules that she would have for her kids.
Can I say some
Do you
rules?
have a rule that you would have for your kids? What's your rule? Well, you're the president of the prime minister, so you probably have a lot of rules.
There's no president in Canada.
I know. I messed up. I was going to ask you guys what your thoughts are on the president of the United States. Do you know what's happening over there?
Yeah, it's the
Mike.
Republicans and the Dominicans. Donald Trump, and it's
Do you like
the woman girl. It's Kamala Harris.
You're gonna. If you were American, would you vote for Kamala or Donald?
Kamala.
Huh? What is it about Donald Trump that you don't like?
Well, he makes bad decisions, and he keeps lying that people are eating the dogs and eating the cats and eating the pets.
Doesn't he? What do you think? Maeva? Isla, you can grab the mic.
He should. I don't like that. He keeps raising the prices.
Interesting how that works.
That. I don't like that. Everyone feels bad at him because he got shot in the ear. Honestly, I think it's kind of he was asking for it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, do you have another thought on the president? Oh, Neela, do you have a thought on the president?
The only thing I like about him is when he gets mad, his face turns red and he jiggles.
Yes, Cece.
Well, if I lived in America, I would stay in the blue states.
Okay, that's probably smart.
And did you know the guy who shot him in the ear was a Republican?
Whoa, I did not know that.
He's a Republican.
Wow, how did you find that out? Were you
School?
watching the news? Oh, school taught you that. Wow.
Even though I hate school.
Why do you hate school?
Too much work. Like, I already know everything.
I hear you. Absolutely. If you already know everything, why do you need to go to school, right?
Because my mom makes me.
Isla, I need to know what your thoughts are on the president of the United States or the presidential election
Dominican Republics. So that's what I'm gonna call them from now on. Okay, so I actually read like articles on them every day in school because we're supposed to do like reading time in school, and so I would definitely vote for Kamala Harris because she's way more reasonable and she doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And I think if she did get elected, she would be the first woman.
She would be. And the first woman of color.
Yeah, and I feel very bad for my grandparents who have to be there during the elections. They're never going to get out of there.
It's scary to think what might happen. Yeah. Yes, my love, at the end, my Mava, what do you want to say?
I hate how he lies that his skin isn't orange. And
Yeah, I feel like he has a really bad self-tanner or something. Like he's using some kind of weird...
no, it's his
chemical on it.
skincare.
It must be he needs to speak to Isla about her skincare routine. Maybe he would have better complexion if
He needs to get that anti-aging sunscreen.
retinol, maybe.
Yeah, it's tinted. Take all that orange away.
Great.
Okay, I have another story. Okay, so another article that I read was on Taylor Swift, and there's like rumors around going like, oh yeah, everybody, Taylor Swift's voting for Donald Trump. Don't like Taylor Swift anymore.
I thought that she supported Kamala by saying something about being a childless cat lady or something.
Then she went on like a live video, and anybody that wanted to join could, and she went on and she said, just to make it clear, I am not voting for Donald Trump. I am voting for Kamala Harris because I am a childless cat lady.
Oh, childless cat lady. It basically means that hasn't had children, but she thinks her cats are her children. Kind of like dog moms, like me. Like I don't have kids, but I have 2 dogs, so I'm a dog mom.
She must love her cats.
She does love her cats, and her cat is one of the richest animals in the world because she gives all kinds of money to her cat.
Oh my gosh, I heard she makes more money than Taylor Swift.
The cat does.
Yeah, she does.
Holy doodle! I wish I was Taylor Swift's cat.
How does the cat make money?
She pays the cat like an employee as part of her business.
Like what, you're going to give her like $100? How's she going to keep it?
Cece, what do you got to say?
So since I have a dog in my house, does that mean I'm a dog mom?
Kind of. Yeah, a little bit. But it's kind of your sister, isn't it? Isn't the dog kind of your sister?
Yeah, but
I would think that the dog is more like your sister than your kid.
yeah, but my mom's like, come to mama, and I'm like, you're not her mother. She's
You guys are
a sister who comes from another mister.
the dog that comes from another mister. Yeah, your sister from another mister. I love that. That's very good. Okay, I have one more question for Isla. We'll close out this segment with this final question. Now, if you guys want to chime in, you can, but this one's directed at Isla. Do you think grown-ups need to ask for help sometimes? And if they do need help, who should they ask?
Okay, so I actually do think that grown-ups need help. Everybody needs help at some point. Who should they ask? If they're Christian, then they should ask God.
Beautiful.
But, yeah, because I'm Christian, and I would ask God, like I would pray to him every single night. If you're not Christian, then you can ask whoever's around you, like what do you mean by help? Like mental help?
Yeah, if they need help with maybe managing their stress levels and maybe they're feeling overwhelmed. If maybe they were a childless cat lady, who would they go to?
Stress. I think you could talk to anybody about that, like anybody who's like good at handling stress. I think you should go to a therapist too, because therapists
How much we all love therapy.
therapists are good at taking away the stress.
Yeah, they kind of help us process our emotions, right? Oh my goodness, Maeva, what do you think? If grown-ups, I'll come to you after Cece, don't worry. Who do you think grown-ups should go to if they need to ask for help?
Like my dad, he gets stressed really easily. So I do think a therapist would be really nice because they can help you like control their stress, problem solve. Like, I also think my mom should get something for her memory.
Oh.
That help from a doctor. Like,
Do you have dementia?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, going to a doctor is a really good start for sure. Absolutely. Going to a therapist, very good. What about your friends? Can you count on your friends?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
Only if you trust them.
Only if you trust them. Okay, Cece, what do you think? Who should grown-ups go to if they need help?
Me.
Why did I not know you were going to say that? Neela, what do you think? Who should grown-ups go to if they need help? Who should grown-ups go to if they need help?
Definitely not CC.
You guys are so cute. All right. We are going to take a quick break. We're just going to rejig the set, and we're going to be back with each girl one-on-one, and they're going to be asking me and their mom some questions next. So we'll be back in a flash. Thank you so much, ladies. We'll see you in a second.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is the All of You podcast. My goodness, that last segment was just everything I feel my soul needed. We are back with the beautiful, wonderful, incredible mother of these poor, incredible little girls. I guess I don't want to call you little girls because you're so mature. You're so mature, Mary.
I mean, I have dementia dancing on a pole, so I'm not really sure what you mean by that. But thank you, I think.
Maybe if you want to just give a little bit of an introduction to yourself, Mary, since we've gotten to know so much about your kids and their perception of you.
You want to just give the audience a little bit of an understanding of what you do in your free time when you're not on the pole or forgetting important things?
It's not a lot of time off the pole, but normally... So I met Shannon. I'm a nurse by trade and kind of followed you around throughout the healthcare system. But
Where are you now?
I am still working in healthcare, more systems. But as I did my master's and have moved on to some research and things like that, I think I made a very deliberate attempt in my previous years to make sure that I had experience in every sector, acute care, community, long-term care, and really my main interest, especially in research, is end-stage dementia, which is why I find my kids' ageism so incredibly, I wanted to scream because I feel like I've taught them better than that. And so...
Kids say the darndest things.
Don't they? Yeah, you think you've taught them something and it all goes out the window.
And you started a little private business too, didn't you, recently? Yeah.
Yeah. So I had I've been doing I have been doing some consulting work as well, some evaluations and stuff like that. So I kind of dabble in a few different things, but I think being a mom just takes up a lot of time.
And I think it's really important to notice my friend there at the end, Isla. You had some things to say about what it was like to be a grown-up. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a mom do you think your mom is on a day-to-day basis, on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think she's 9.9999999 because there is still some stuff she could improve, but like it's not the biggest deal. So.
What do you admire the most about your mom?
she encourages us to work hard in anything we do, like sports, school. Yeah.
That's really special. Do you think that the work that your mom does is important?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think is so important about the work that your mom does?
Like her job?
Yeah.
What I think is important is like, yeah, she does like research about dementia and stuff. So she's basically just helping a lot of people that have dementia.
Helping a lot of people who have dementia.
Yeah.
That's really special. So do you have any questions for us, Isla?
I do.
I want to give you the opportunity to take over the hosting responsibilities here. So you can choose who do you want to answer whatever questions you've got kind of planned, or whatever questions you took from the talking box. What do you think?
So
Where
this
would
is
you
for
like to start?
both of you guys.
Both, okay.
We'll do with my mom first, though.
Okay.
What are some important lessons that you've learned in life?
Oh, some important lessons.
That's kind of hard. There's so many lessons that I haven't even learned yet. So, but I would say so far, the biggest one is like not taking life seriously.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Like
That was the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah. Well, we're like the same person, so that makes sense. But I just, being a mom, I think even like a millennial mom, there's kind of this push for like perfectionism and doing everything and
the
having
whole
these like
vlogger thing. Yeah.
Like I'm going to start with, I know that my kids are involved in a lot of things and I don't actually know if that is the right way to do it.
Oh.
I think did not have a lot of those opportunities growing up and I really wanted to give them those opportunities, but I can't say that is necessarily, I think kids sports and anything to do with kids now is so competitive.
Yeah,
and
it puts a lot of pressure on them.
And it takes over their whole life and it takes away from family time. So I'm not saying I've done that. Like, I think I've learned that. I think balance and teaching them that at a young age is really important. And it's really difficult when your kids get passions and work really hard at something. And then you I always call it like, it's a scam. Like you get stuck.
Yeah.
You kind of go into this vortex and you don't know how to get out because they love it and you feel like you're kind of crushing their dreams. But I also think that as millennials, we've made everything competitive. We've made everything only obtainable to the people that make the most money and have the most time.
Or nannies or,
Yeah. I don't know how half these moms do it.
Yeah.
And so I've just really let a lot go. I always say I do like everything 50% because you can't do everything 100% if you have 100 things to do.
Yeah.
And so I always tell the kids, like, I'm keeping you alive and hopefully not, hopefully healthy and mentally healthy. But other than that, that's really my goal. And, I don't care about matching outfits or any of that stuff. My kids don't even know. It's funny. I take Isla to the store and what do you do? What do you do?
Do you ask your mom for fashion advice?
No.
When I say, hey, this is cute, what do you say?
Is it preppy?
No, it's always about the money.
Oh, she questions how much something
I always
costs.
say like, how much is it or something like that because I need to know if it's overpriced or not, obviously.
Do you like the idea of thrift shopping?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
That's my favorite.
And so now,
nice.
like her graduation, I was like, I'm going to let you buy a new dress, which she had never had before.
Because everything you've ever done for them has been thrifted.
Correct.
Yeah,
or
love
hand-me-downs.
Or hand-me-downs, yeah.
And so I was like, you can pick a dress. It wasn't like an expensive store. I knew it wasn't going to be, And I think we only spent like $10 on that dress. And she felt so guilty. Like she was like, oh my gosh, I have this new dress.
Oh my goodness.
So I think they've learned like the value of the dollar. And if you want to do a lot of things, you have to do less other things. So it's a balance.
I love that. Really good question, Isla. What else have you got up your sleeve?
So this is one of like my own questions. I wanted to know like when you like became a mom, like when you got pregnant and stuff, like were you like stressed at all or like
Maybe not
like
the
how
first
did
time.
it feel?
So with you,
Really good question.
I was not expected to get pregnant because I had been through some chemotherapy treatments when I was younger and was told I wouldn't have kids. So with you, I was kind of like shocked, and I was happy because I thought something that I never ever would get to do. Not that I ever felt like an innate need to like grow a baby in me, but I definitely knew that I loved, surprisingly not babies, but I love this age. So I'm starting to like my kids. Yeah, so I was excited, and how did it feel? Like, it's surreal, right? Because I remember when you came out, I'll never forget like looking at you and being like, it's like an alien. Like, where did it come from? Like, I knew it was in my stomach, but it was just such a bizarre experience. And some moms would say, oh my gosh, I love my baby. And they would touch it when it was moving. And for me, like, probably I'm a little bit neuroatypical. And so I'm thinking like, until it came out, I couldn't envision it.
Yeah.
Even the ultrasound picture, you didn't still feel like a separate being. And so when it comes out, you're just like, oh my gosh, like, it's an alien from outer space.
So what happened when the second baby came along? Was it still an alien kind of feeling? Or?
A little bit less, but it was definitely a very big surprise because I just thought, oh, I'll just have one. And so they're 14 months apart. And so when I did get pregnant the second time, it was again like a bit of a surprise. And
did your doctor say anything specific about it? Like, this is a miracle. You weren't supposed to have kids.
Yeah, I think after Isla, they said, well, sometimes that happens and people just have one. So don't, like, if you do want to have more kids, don't Fort Knox it, basically. Just let things happen natural if they do. I wrote my nursing exam when she was 3 months old. So I didn't get mat leave with her or anything like that. So I was actually really looking forward to having the next baby quickly, because then I thought, I can at least have a mat leave and spend time with her that she didn't get when she was little. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the third?
Oh, and then the third was like, we did Fort Knox it, and she somehow came, and we never figured out how that happened.
She's a force too, so that's not surprising.
Yes, so she was a big surprise, and she flew out, literally got air. And
how many months apart? The first one was 14 months?
13 months.
Oh my goodness.
So Maeve and Cecily are 13 months apart, and she was a very big surprise. And she's been surprising us ever since. She surprised us with her arrival, and she was very different from the moment she came out. So it's really interesting when you have 4 kids really close in age and they're all the same, identify as the same gender. It's really interesting how different they
even
all
just
are.
Watching them on the couch, how different they all are, and how they all just have their own little unique personalities and big personalities.
And what I learned is, because I used to always just think it was genetics or random, but you're not the same parent with all your kids.
Yes.
Even if you're raised in the same environment with the same parents, we're not the same people.
Did you see that clip with Dr. Gabor Mate when he corrected the person that he was interviewing with? Gabor Mate had an interview with this guy, and he was saying, my sister and I, we grew up in the same house. We had the same parents.
Yes, I do remember something about this.
Mate said, no, you didn't. You didn't have the same parents.
Yes.
Because at different times in your parents' lives, you were born on different years. Different things would have been happening in your household. Different things would have been happening financially. So,
when I had Isla, I didn't have her by herself for very long, but that was a very different experience when Neela came.
Yeah.
And I already had 3 other children, right? She got a very different experience.
Was Neela planned?
Yes.
Neela was planned.
Yeah,
oh my goodness. The little planned one.
Because they didn't want to have 3, because then it one would just be excluded or something. So they just decided to have 4.
And I was so happy she was a girl. Everyone was like, you're trying for a boy. I was like, no,
we want a girl tribe.
Yeah, it was really exciting when she was a girl. We didn't know the genders when they were born. And the only thing is, I hate naming kids.
But
I just think it's such a big responsibility, and I just hate it. And so when it was another girl, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not using any of the boy names. That was kind of the only thing that was disappointing.
I remember when you and I first met and you started showing me pictures of your girls and you say that you did all of your shopping thrifting and whatever, but in the photos that you have, they're all so coordinated, and you just, their hair always looks so cute in the pictures and stuff too. Maybe a little bit more when they were younger, you kind of had more control over that kind of stuff, but
I think, yeah. And then they become independent and have their own personalities and styles, which is fun to see. Yeah. And you let a lot of that go. And I also feel like, you can do that for a couple hours, but that's not real life.
Yeah.
Right.
So I asked the girls specifically, like, how do you think your parents keep track of everything? So how do you keep track of everything? Like they said, you have an app on your phone and a calendar. Is that it?
Well, they also said that I forget everything. So it's a bit of a juxtaposition, but, I do forget things, and I'm not good at remembering, but I am married to someone who is extremely good at remembering.
Oh, that's good.
And so we balance each other out quite well. He has to remind me of a lot of things, but alarms going off all the time, and really detailed calendars. Like we have 7 to 8 things on our calendar every day.
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of reminders. And I think I have built some systems that have worked, but then I've also built some, I've been diagnosed later in life with ADHD, which I think was it was helpful because I think you can cope and you can build these strategies for so long, and then you have 4 children, 3 jobs, full-time school, and like all of a sudden it comes crashing down that maybe not all of your coping mechanisms are always going to work.
Yeah.
And then I also read something today that as you go into like perimenopause, that actually really triggers ADHD. And that's why so many like 40, 50-year-olds get diagnosed. And I didn't actually put that all together before.
Well, you have to think a huge contributor to ADHD in women is your cycle, right? So if you go into perimenopause, your estrogen dipping and waning and, flowing like that, I can see how those symptoms might be totally exacerbated once menopause becomes, because that's part of my treatment is I'm on luteal phase SSRIs for PMDD and for ADHD. And this was my whole learning about how your cycle, when you're at this stage in your cycle with your estrogen levels, and then after day 14, the estrogen starts to wane. And then that's when you start to, experience all kind of different hormonal imbalances. And those hormonal imbalances contribute to your ADHD symptoms. So
totally. And I don't think people understand like physically what happens when you have 4 children.
Oh my gosh.
Come out of your body. And how you just deal with that for the rest of your life, the damage that is done. Yeah. But also just like the emotional and the psychological changes and the constant things going through your head. So if you do have ADHD, I mean, that's 100 times worse.
Yeah.
And really hard to kind of keep things straight and keep everybody where they're supposed to be.
Yeah. But did you know any of this, Isla? Going into this conversation, did you realize that there was so many things that contribute to your mom's worry for her kids and making sure that you guys are well taken care of and all that?
Well, I knew that she would have to worry. Like I knew that she worried, but I didn't know she worried as much as she does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have kids, but sometimes I look at my friends who have kids and I think, I don't know how you do it. I have no idea how, the average mom can have a career and can have a, marriage and can have multiple children. And so I think your mom's a pretty special lady to be able to do all that for you girls.
Thank you. But I also think when you're married, like when you have 4 girls, there's even more pressure to be like, you can have a career. This is what that's like. Being that example.
Gender norms.
Yeah. And so I am married to a feminist, and
well, he could not, there's no way he couldn't be a feminist, right? Does Miles like being a girl dad?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he likes it. I mean, I think the girl, he has kind of his girls that like the same kind of activities. He likes fishing and playing his silly games and all that kind of stuff. So I think he's never, I think he gets a lot of like, oh, poor Miles, like with all these girls.
Even your dog is a girl. Yeah,
it's true. Funny, yeah. But I think it's beautiful.
I think it's beautiful.
How lucky is he that he gets
lucky.
to be with all these?
It's a dynamic group of hens. Yeah. I love it.
I feel like it's funny because I used to do like dance and cheerleading and gymnastics and stuff. And whenever I went out to competitions and stuff, he score the big dance. And I'm like,
Score the big dance move. I love it.
He never knew what to call it. He's like,
That's cute. Do you have one more question?
yes.
Okay.
My last question is, what advice would you give to your child or your grandchild on their wedding day?
Oh, that's a good one. What advice would you give to your child or grandchild on their wedding day?
interesting.
You're going to have to do it a couple times.
Yeah. Well, I just think of when I kind of got married and that whole process and just how you're just going into this adventure and you have no idea what it's actually going to be like. Like, there's really no way to prepare for that personally. But I do think that, I would just say, like, find your own way and journey. And it's okay if things don't work out as a picture that you have in your brain for marriage and kids and life to be. And I think the fairy tale we were kind of sold as millennials when we all watched the Disney movies. I think it contributes to a lot of relationship issues now because we were just fed this lie of life. And I think this generation is going to be different.
I think this generation is going to be different. I mean, you can tell just by, the different perspectives of these four
Like,
young
if I was
minds.
here with my mom, I would not have said any of that.
But your kids feel safe with you.
Yes,
Your kids
and
feel very safe with you.
That's good. I'm trying to instill that, but also respect. It's a balance.
Of course. And so I have one question. I have one question as well, and then we're going to swap some people on the couch. But my question for you, Mary, is what do you think about gentle parenting? This whole concept of gentle parenting that you hear all about on social media.
So I don't really believe in any parenting style. And the reason that I don't agree with gentle parenting or any parenting styles because kids are not the same.
They're very malleable.
And I just don't think you can parent every kid the same. And maybe that's one thing I took from my parents because I remember I had a curfew and like my brother didn't and my sister didn't. And I was always so mad. No, I'm like the middle. I'm like third. And I was always like, why do I have a curfew and they don't? And they said, because you need a curfew.
Oh.
But
we know you.
They also knew me enough to know not to curfew my body, but they curfewed the car. Oh. So to me, that was different. Yes, I'm using your car and it needs to be back because if an emergency happened, you need it here. So they knew how to parent in a very... Now looking back at the time, I didn't understand how clever they were. But looking back, I'm like, my parents were pretty, there was 5 of us and they were pretty good at reading us and knowing what we needed.
Yeah.
And I think I've taken that into my parenting where I think now we've tried to generalize parenting. And I don't think that that is a good thing for kids. I don't think that we should put any kids in a box. Some of my kids require a lot of physical and emotional support. And some of my kids don't and are very independent. And I try to nurture that too. But also trying to be available because we all know that sibling rivalry is a real thing. And so, I think they understand that they're all different. And so I parent them differently and I spend time with them differently and we do different things together and prioritize different things depending on the child. I will say parenting style wise, I just call it like in the moment parenting, right? It's like, what in this moment do they need? And so there's no like philosophy for that because I don't think that it's possible.
Yeah.
And if you put yourself in that box or you just read some books and learn parenting in one way, I think you're just doing a disservice to some of your kids.
One thing that I really admire about you is, we were planning for this in the evening and I was like, I don't even know what to feed children. Like I have a hard enough time when adults are in my home, remembering that they need to be fed too. And you're like, they eat anything. They eat anything. They wear whatever. Like you're just so chill. And, you don't see that a lot in millennial parents nowadays. It's almost like millennials have gone the complete opposite of how our parents parented parented us, and they have now taken it to the point where we're over parenting almost in a way.
And we don't know what works.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea if I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm the kind of parent that brings the watermelon to the park.
Yeah.
You know, I had the friends that brought like the snack trays in the compartments, like, you know,
Like the
raisins.
fishing tackle thing, and they put it all. Oh my gosh.
And then I was the one that brought a watermelon and a knife and a spoon. And would just like cut the watermelon and give them a spoon.
Here's your spoon. Yeah.
So like, you know, as I've gone through mat leave, and I'm a bit of a people person and needed people around me. And I found those people, which was great, but we were all so different. And the humor that came out of that, like they'd be like, oh my gosh, here's Mary with her, you know, bag of Cheerios. And like, so yeah. And I think my kids are fine, you know, and I think they have some resiliency because they didn't get all the perfect things, and they get to like search for their treasures at the thrift store, and they love it, and they don't like shopping in real stores.
Neither do I.
So I love that about them, and they get creative, and they get to do some fun things like that. So
One thing about my mom is that she's like not one of those moms that's like, oh yeah, my like daughter's great at everything and she loves the sport and stuff. Like when we were at dance, she's like, oh my gosh, this sport is so annoying. I literally have to pay something one moment, and then I have to pay for a costume the other moment, and then I have to pay for competition fees the other moment. I don't understand the sport. So just say it like out loud to everybody.
Just says it like it is. Yeah. Yeah, but that's called authenticity. Do you appreciate somebody being authentic and telling it like it is?
I feel like you're not bragging about your children. You're like, yeah, my children are the best.
She's saying it like it is. She's saying it factually and truthfully and all those good things.
I am not a dance mom. That's what came out. That's what came out of that experiment.
Come on out of the frame, please. Come on out of the frame, you silly girl. Not a dance mom. Well, these were really great questions, and I feel like we got the chance to know your mom a little bit better. I think that's really great. Can we get one of your other sisters on the couch now? Yes. All right, who's up next? Oh my goodness, we've got the Prime Minister of Canada. Neela's going to be next. All right, Prime Minister. Remind me again, Cicely, what year and month were you born?
I was born February 20th.
What year?
When you know everything.
Come on, Prime Minister. What year were you born?
2015.
Well done. Very good. Make sure you're talking right into the mic, okay, my love? Do you have questions that you would like to ask either your mom or myself? Did you get some questions on a little card?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember?
I'm going to ask the Olive Branch mentor.
Okay.
What are you looking forward to the next generation?
What am I looking forward to about the next generation? I think you guys are going to change the world. I think that we are currently operating in a system that is a little bit outdated and a little bit archaic. And I think that people like you and your sisters are going to be the change makers that we need in order for our future to be a much more inclusive and dynamic and creative space. Tell me, what do you think about that?
Why not just me?
Why not just you? What am I looking forward to about your future?
Yeah.
I think that you are an incredibly bright and an incredibly confident young lady. And I think that a lot of girls out there in the world need to have somebody like you to look up to, because I think it's a very hard thing to be confident in today's society with all of the pressure that we have. Like your sister talking about her skincare routine and the makeup that she wears and, you know, how you wear your hair and your outfits. I think that because social media influences so much of our lives, that we need people like you and your sisters who are authentic and who are wanting to build other people up and support other people and be, you know, confident in who you are and what you bring to the table. I think that's a really beautiful thing. Is that a good answer? Yeah? What do you think? You want to ask your mom the same question?
Yeah. What are you looking forward to for the next generation specifically?
About me.
Oh, boy.
Cece.
Well, I'll start broad and then I'll go. But I was actually, my husband and I were talking about this because I really do think that everything's going to change. I mean, just the access to information that our kids have, how we used to do education where we would just memorize random facts into every muscle in the body and nerve. And I'm like, why did I ever do that? I've never used that a day in my life. And if I needed to, I'd Google it.
Yeah.
So But
remember when we didn't even have Google, we had the encyclopedia.
We had to go to the library to
and
sit there. Yeah. And if we did get on the internet, like at their age, I think we were the first ones on our street to have the internet. And because my mom's very techie, and we had like the first computer, the black and orange one from McMaster University that my parents had. And I remember we had that like dial up where it was like ding, 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 ding. And then you would trying to kick your mom off the phone because it was your internet time, and like every page took 80 years to load. And just the access, the information, like AI, like everything is just going to change the way that what they can do and how creative they can be, because they're not going to spend all their time like just doing all this useless stuff that we do currently. And I think that's going to be great.
It's going to be really great, I think. Cicely, what do you think about AI, artificial intelligence?
I think I could be better.
You think you could be better than AI? You know what? Your confidence is infectious. It's a really beautiful thing. Do you have any other questions for me or your mom?
I do.
Okay.
So, how stressful is it when you buy a house?
Oh boy.
Whoa. Well, I have not purchased one myself as of yet, but I can tell you, if you don't mind, I'll take this one first. So last year, my partner and I, we started the house hunting process and we started looking at houses. I can tell you the competition at certain times. We went to see a house that we really liked. We didn't even get to go to the open house because people put in offers before the open house even happened, and the house ended up going for over $100,000 over asking. So that's one thing. I think bidding wars and bully offers, these are things that you probably don't know anything about, but a bully offer is somebody who has a lot of money offering way over the asking price of what the house is actually being sold for, and they're going to basically make it impossible for other people to get any chance at buying the house at what it's being listed for. So that's a really stressful thing.
I have heard that word before.
Bully offer, yeah. You're very smart, so I don't, that's not surprising to me. The other thing that's really stressful about buying a house is how much money you have to save before you go into buying a house, because you have to put a down payment, right, on the house. And then you have to pay a mortgage every month. What do you think about that?
Well, but also you have enough money, but you just don't want to use it and you want to save it up for other things.
Yeah. And you want to know what my problem was when we were looking at houses? Because I don't own this place that I live in. I rent this place. But every house we went to see, I didn't love it as much as I love this place. So I didn't want to buy a house that I didn't love just to say that I owned a house. I want the home that I live in to be something that I'm really excited to go home to, not something that I resent and has all kinds of things that need to be upgraded and renovations. And I just had a really hard time when we were going to see these houses. Every single house, when we would walk out, I would say, but it's not the ballroom. It's not the ballroom. It's not the ballroom. So those are my three stressful things. The competition and how everybody seems to have more money than I do, and they're offering way more than the houses are actually worth. The amount of money that you have to save going into it, and then finding something that you really love and knowing that you're going to be there forever, and you have, no choice but to leave unless you sell it and go through the whole process all over again. What do you think, Mary? You've bought a house or two. So
we've bought 3, and I will tell you that it is more difficult as, you have children and you want to be in a space that they can explore and not, you can let them out the door. But also like things that were important to me about buying a house or stressful about buying a house before are different now, because I have to think about where they're going to school and where their sports are. Because more than anything now, I used to really want a beautiful house and that kind of thing. And it's like once you wanted just a home, just like
Oh,
Hello.
what are you doing,
There you
go. If you don't want this, okay. Well, this
Amazing.
is happening. So there you go.
Cecily's a bit of a dog whisperer,
Well, that's
so
I'm gonna get photos of this dress. Okay, that would be really
she's
great.
always the kid that, the squirrel would come up to and she would be feeding it, and the bird always lands on her hand. So she is a bit of a
Snow White. My goodness.
yes. She's always loved animals.
Those are two really great questions. Do you have one more quick question for us?
Yeah.
Okay, ask away.
This is for mostly my mom.
Okay, I love that.
How much courage did it take to have children?
Talk into the mic, my love. Can you ask that question again?
How much courage did it take to have children?
Courage did
Well, the actual deed didn't. It does take courage. I mean, you have an idea in your head and how you romanticize the idea of having a baby and what that's going to look like, because we just look at social media and we think it's one thing. And so it doesn't take a lot of courage for the first one, because you just have this picture of this is what you do. You grow up, you have kids. But I will say, as you go down the road, it becomes more and more babies are cheap. I always say, I breastfed, they kind of slept in laundry baskets and stuff like that. And then you kind of get to the point where they get expensive. They want to there's more things. So, it takes courage, but then it's maintaining that courage long term.
Maintaining the courage.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. Cicely, you're so incredible. It's been a pleasure. Can we give Neela a chance on the mic on the couch with your mom? Yeah? Can you sneak by Olive? See if she'll let you get by you without jumping up? Good girl, Olive. You so sweet. Neela, where you at, girl? Come and sit up here.
What tradition do you want our family to continue?
What traditions do you want our family to continue? What a good question. What traditions do you guys have?
Yeah.
What does your Christmas look like?
It's the only thing consistent about our Christmas is how inconsistent it is. So we are very I am not a traditional person in any sense of the word. I like everything to be different and spontaneous and exciting. So Christmas is very stressful for me. And so I have really taken a different approach to Christmas and holidays like that, where we went to Florida last year and we didn't do gifts. We just drove down for a billion hours, and my parents are down there in the winter. So we're trying to do different things for Christmas, and more than anything, really teaching them about giving to others instead of, Christmas bothers me. The consumerism of it.
This must be a neurodivergent thing, because I also don't like Christmas. I just find the whole hype of it all and how much money people spend. And, if you've got a split parent dynamic, how there's competition around how many gifts are given from which parent. I don't know.
Just family get-togethers. They can be complicated.
Do you do anything special for their birthdays? Are there any traditions you do for their birthdays?
Do you want to say that? Because
what do you guys do for your birthdays?
Speak in the mic, honey.
We usually, when we turn 1, 10, no.
Yeah, you're right.
1, 10, 16, we get a birthday party.
1, 10, 16.
Yeah.
Nice. And is it a big special thing? Wow. You're not 10 yet. Your 10's coming up. Do you have any idea what you want to do for your 10th birthday?
She just turned 8.
Oh, so still a couple
She's got
years
a couple
to think
years
about
to
it.
think about it.
That's good.
What we do for birthdays, because I had winter babies as well, and I also hate birthdays a lot.
Oh my gosh, we are the same
really
person.
hate birthdays. It's not that I don't mind going to a birthday and celebrating someone's birthday in their life. It's just it's the societal stress.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to have the matching themed party and spend
With
that
the balloon
money. And I
arch
just
and-
can't.
Yeah.
but I'm so atypical. So like, then sometimes I'd go all out, and I'm like, what is happening? This is so like, so we did go to the 3 birthday parties in their lifetime. But what we do at the end of school, what do we do?
The end of the school year.
We do an end of the school year party.
End of the school year party. Yeah. Wow.
So like we get to invite like all our friends from school.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Then we usually put like it's usually like the summer, so we put like a lot of like water activities like in our backyard.
Oh my goodness, because you guys have a great backyard.
We do like 3-legged races.
And last year, we taped Isla's friend to the tree and Maeva to the tree, and then we threw water balloons at them.
You did? Oh my goodness.
We duct taped them to the tree.
Can you invite me to your next after school or end of the school year party? I want to see that happen.
That's my mom.
Okay, I will. I'm going to reach out to her in May and see what your guys' plans are for
It's
your party
always so
next
funny because
season.
they say you can invite as many kids as you want.
Yeah.
In fact, be inclusive, right? So I have my kids that do invite literally their whole class, and then I have my friends that invite like 1 or 2, and it's so stressful for them. But yeah, it's just a time for all their kids to get together. It can be outside in our yard. And that's been our compromise.
I love that.
Because they plan it and the games are ridiculous and it's not organized whatsoever.
Nice.
And it's wild.
But
they all remember it. And I'm like, when can I come to your next?
Yeah, I
school bash.
can't wait. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there next June or July when you guys have your party. Do you have another question for us, my love? Do you need one of your sisters to help you?
What do you?
I'll just say they go to all French schools.
Yes, they are bilingual. So
I wouldn't say bilingual. They can't read English.
Oh, they can't read English.
I look at. They don't do English until grade 4 for 1 hour.
What do you think is next for you?
what do I think is next for me? Ooh, my goodness, girlfriend. If I knew that, I would be a billionaire. If I could predict what the next thing was, in store for me. The thing that I hope for me is I really want to write a book. I really want to write a book really badly.
It's the only thing left, Shannon.
Yeah, it's pretty
everything
much the only
else,
thing
so you
left.
have to do that.
Yeah. I really, really, really want to write a book. I'm really loving the podcast. This has been one of the funnest things, one of the hardest things, but also one of the funnest things I've ever been able to do as a grown-up. When I asked you that question before, when I was like, if you could do anything when you become a grown-up, like what are you waiting for to do? When I was your age, I imagined being able to do cool things like this. So the fact that I'm getting to do cool things like this as an adult now is really fun for me. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, but I think the unknown is actually the thing that excites me the most because, like your mom was saying before, you think you know the path that you're going to take and you think you're choosing, decisions that are going to lead you in the right direction, but the universe works in really mysterious ways and we never really know where we're going to end up.
That's why I thought that was an interesting question because the reality is when we were their age, we didn't even know what a podcast was.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I try to think, my husband and I do this, what are we, like considering we just had dial-up internet when we were their age, what is their future going to be and our grandkids? And we can't, and we were just talking about this today. I was like, I don't actually think we can imagine it.
No. I don't think so.
I never would have imagined what a podcast was. I never would have imagined carrying a computer in my hand. So I think it's cool that driving an electric car, I think we're going to be really surprised.
Jetpacks and stuff. Like you're seeing all kinds of inventions with transportation, modes of transportation, ways of connecting with people. There's going to be hologram, I'm going to teach classes as a hologram probably at some point.
My mom went to school to be a key punch operator.
A key punch operator. I don't even know what that is. Key punch operator.
So that's when the operators had to punch in your, so it didn't
goodness.
exist about 4 to 5 years after she graduated.
Wow.
Career gone.
Yeah. Well, this is why I was asking the girls, what kind of problems do you want to help solve? Because I, consume social media like everyone. And one of the reels I saw recently was we have to stop asking kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because some of the things that kids might want to be might not even be a profession in 5, 10, 15 years. So they say that you should be asking kids, what kind of problems do you want to solve? What kind of people do you want to work with and what kind of problems do you want to solve? Because then they get to use their brilliant minds to come up with creative solutions to things. What do you think of that, Neela? Does that sound about right? Is that a good answer to your question? Yeah. Do you have one more question for us, my love? Yeah. You need some help with this one? Okay.
What is different growing up than growing up as a child?
When you were a child?
Oh, I can think of a lot of examples, specifically to do with the phone, right? Because we were talking about the internet, but I remember our home phone had something called call waiting. And so when I would be on the phone with my friends, there would be a beep sound that would come through. And that would mean that there was somebody trying to call through the line and you had to flick over. I don't even remember what button you had to press or whatever.
The receiver
to go to the other line. So nowadays, people don't talk on the phone like they used to. People aren't, gabbing on the phone, yapping on the phone. They don't do that today the same way that we did when we were younger. I also think the way we socialize with our peers was very different too, because we didn't have cell phones. And nothing crazy that we did when we're young is on the internet, because we didn't have smartphones with us kind of documenting every little thing that we did. And, so I'm a little bit grateful for that. What do you think? What stands out to you as being the most different from when we grew up to today?
I think the speed.
Yeah.
Everything's so fast now.
Yeah.
Like their minds have to work so overtime all the time. It's like, get up, get your lunch, get out the door, come home, do your homework, get to your sport. Everything is just so fast and everything's so available.
Yeah.
Like even food, right?
Yeah.
Like I always say,
DoorDash. Yeah,
I lived in a non-snack house. I don't know if you know what that means, but that's like, you don't actually have snacks. You have to make a snack.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember coming home off the bus being starving because we got our one tuna sandwich that we couldn't trade and maybe a Rice Krispie square that my mom made that morning. But then you were so hungry. And so I would take marshmallows and put chocolate chips on top because you only had ingredients.
Right. Nothing in a prepackaged.
You had to cut your apple and dip it in peanut butter. There was no
juice crystals. That was a thing for to dip your finger in juice crystals and
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it tastes terrible.
And then you'd have a purple thumb or an orange
and then you
thumb.
try to put it in your hair.
Oh,
yeah.
So Neela, there are so many things that are different today than that were different for us when we were your age that you'll never experience because it's just almost doesn't exist anymore. Which is kind of silly to think about.
And lots of things we don't get to experience that you get to.
We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have Netflix. We didn't have anything like that. Isn't that crazy to think about? Yeah. All right, my love. Let's give your sister, my goodness, Mava. Let's get Mava up on the mic for our Mava. So nice to have you on the couch with your mother. My goodness. Do you have some questions for your dear mother or for me? I'm sure you do.
For both of you guys.
Okay.
What is the most important lesson your parents taught you?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to let you take this one first.
Well, I think I already talked about one thing, which was knowing people for who they are and taking time. But I guess they taught me talking about this to a friend today, generosity. I guess just how different it is. I was raised where my parents were very generous and gave sacrificially. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people actually know what that means anymore to give when it hurts. And so I think I learned that, and I don't do it as well as they did. Because I think the more you have, the harder it is to give sacrificially. But that's definitely something they taught me and something I'm trying to instill. And because this generation is so different and they have so many things like Starbucks and I didn't have anything like that.
Skincare routines.
Restaurants. That was just never a thing. So, I'm still trying to, in this day and age, it's not just being kind. I'm kindness is great. It's one thing, but Love is a verb, and you got to do stuff, and you got to give, and it's got to hurt.
Actions,
And giving should hurt in some way. It shouldn't be free. If it's your surplus, it's not giving, right? It's not affecting you. And so I'm trying to teach my kids that, but it is very hard in this generation to teach that because they just have so much.
And the people around them, they can compare to what their friends have, and then they can think that it's
more complicated for them now. Yeah.
It's a huge lesson. Well, Maeva, let me tell you a little story about my parents. So my mom was a teenager when she had me. So my mom was very young when she gave birth to me. So how old? She was 14 when she had me. Yeah. So that's like teen mom.
I could never imagine doing that.
Never imagine? Yeah. It's wild to think about, isn't it? So I think the lessons that I learned from my biological mom versus
Hi, Olive.
the lessons that I learned from my biological mom versus the lessons that I learned from my adoptive parents. I think as a child, I looked in on my parents, thinking that maybe they weren't doing that great of a job. And I maybe questioned, some of their approaches to parenting. But the thing that I learned when I became an adult was that your parents are just human. Right? Your parents are going to make mistakes. Your parents, whether it seems like they know all the answers to everything, they don't. I think the thing that I've learned most in, having a teen mom and being adopted and then having lost my adopted parents, they both died from really sad, tragic situations. I think the thing that I've taken away the most is that everybody is just doing the best they can with the resources that they have. And maybe those resources are financial. Maybe those resources are emotional. Maybe those resources are just functional activities of daily living. And I think the thing that's most important is that we have to give ourselves and the people around us grace, because life is very hard and you never quite know, what the next thing will be. You could get diagnosed with a horrible degenerative disease. You could get diagnosed with dementia. You could get diagnosed with cancer, and all of the things that you have planned for your life, they could change at, the drop of a hat. And so I think the lesson that I've learned from my parents is nobody is perfect. Everybody is just doing the best they can with what they know. And we hope that by taking those lessons from our parents, that we can then be better versions of our own selves when we're adults. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Thanks. I also been feeling bad for my mom because her cousin just got cancer.
Oh, no.
And my mom's been so sad about it.
I bet. Yeah. What do you know about cancer?
That it's a really bad disease.
Yeah. You can get different kinds of cancer too, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure my granny, she got breast cancer.
Wow.
And one time her hat fell off and she looked a little silly without her hair.
Was she wearing a wig? Oh, she just took her hat off and she had no hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really insightful for you to notice. And I'm sorry to hear about your cousin that they were diagnosed with. Her cousin. Sorry to hear about that.
She's actually hospice. So.
In hospice.
Well, hospice at home.
What kind of cancer?
She had breast cancer, but it's everywhere.
Metastasized. Mm-hmm. Cancer is an awful, awful, awful thing. Awful thing. And I think that's maybe another thing is about loss. Like when you're an adult, when you start losing people, right? Because when you're a kid, it's a shock when you experience the first time, when you experience the first death. Have you ever experienced anybody close to you passing away?
My Uncle Steve passed away and my great-granny passed away.
Great-granny, yeah. So you haven't experienced too much loss yet in your life. I think that's a really difficult thing as you get older. You start losing people that are really important to you and really special to you, and how you kind of cope and how you're able to, be resilient through those losses is a really interesting human experience.
It's made us talk a lot about death.
I like talking about death. We can talk about death.
We've been talking about it a lot more, I think, since it's become a little bit more real. And But it's interesting because I also, as a nurse and as somebody that kind of has faced their own mortality that they didn't experience, and also their dad's first wife died. So he's a widow. Yes. And I think that it's to have that conversation. I mean, also now I do a lot of palliative care work, but I think there's something important about starting those conversations very young so that if it does happen, it's not going to damage them forever and ever and ever. Because they're already starting to think through what that would look like. What do you think about death?
It's a really good question.
Well, death is like, and especially if you're really close to a person, it's really sad. But I feel like even though you've maybe experienced it a lot, it's never gonna get better. You're always gonna feel sad.
Yeah, I would say the sadness gets a little bit easier to deal with. It's not as intense, right? That initial feeling when you lose someone is very intense. And that intensity kind of decreases over time. But there will be maybe, the anniversary of the person's death. When that comes around, you might kind of sink back into those really sad feelings for a short period of time, just kind of reflecting on the amount of time that's passed. My best friend who died, 26 weeks pregnant, 5 years. Like, how has it been 5 years since Ashley died? I was just having a Zoom little chat with a friend of mine from my Ashley days today, and we were reflecting on how has 5 years passed since Ashley died? And that was one of the most traumatic, deaths that I ever experienced in my adult life, including my parents, of course. But yeah, death is a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
From a human experience perspective. What a very insightful question. Yeah. Any other questions, my love?
Yeah. So, even though we kind of already said this, since you got into the stage of death,
leave it to me. Yeah.
I was gonna say, how does it feel to have like a really close friend or family member die out of just die?
So I can tell you a little story about she was one of my very best friends, and she was 26 weeks pregnant, and she died suddenly she had a problem with her heart. So she had an aortic aneurysm. And so I got a call in the middle of my workday letting me know that she had died. And I was sitting in the Walmart parking lot. And I will never, ever, ever forget that phone call, because it's a phone call that you never hope to get. But when you get it, it shakes your world. I was speaking to her sister, who called me, to tell me the news. And I was trying so hard to be strong for her sister on the phone. And then as soon as I hung up the phone, I just collapsed. Yeah. I just cried and cried and cried and cried in my car. I remember calling my mom. My mom was still alive at the time. I remember calling my mom and saying, Ashley had died. And the, really sad thing, I think, was that I had just spent time with her. I had only just seen her a couple of weeks before, because she lives out east in Nova Scotia. So I had gone out to Nova Scotia to see her, and I found out that she was pregnant, and we were really excited to be planning the baby shower and all of this stuff. And then to find out, that she died on a Monday, and, it was so tragic and sudden. And it really turned my world upside down, and it, I think, really solidified for me how fragile our lives really are, and that it can be the blink of an eye and your whole world can change, right? You could literally walk out on the street today and get hit by a bus, and your world could be over, right? And so that's why I think ever since losing Ashley, and since losing my parents really young, there was a part of me that just kind of made a decision that I want to spend my life doing the things that I want to be doing, and taking every single opportunity I can to be chasing my dreams and following my heart, because you just never know when that opportunity is not going to be there for you anymore. And I want to make sure that I'm leaving a legacy, and I want to make sure that people remember me as, somebody who cared a lot about life and put my whole heart and soul into making sure that the life that I'm leading is one that I'm proud of, and one that other people are proud of too.
Yeah, I also feel
the thought of like you're never going to be able to see them again. Like maybe you saw them the day before and then you might have like been able to see them. I don't know.
But you guys are Christian, so what do you think? Maybe we will see. Maybe we will see our loved ones again, right? And maybe there's a little bit of peace to have in that, is that we might see them again. And guess what? Every single time you close your eyes, you can see them. You can see them in your mind, you can see them in your heart, you can see them in your soul, right?
And creativity. Like my good friend Heidi died, and she was an artist, and we actually did chemo together, and I had a lot of guilt when she died because I didn't die. But
Survivor's guilt, yeah.
yeah, but she painted live at our wedding.
Oh, wow.
While we were getting married, and we have that hung in our house.
Oh, I love that.
And I just think about creativity and art and anything that you can leave as legacy and how special that painting is. Is really important. So yeah.
I'm finding a lot of joy, Maeva, in having a lot of these experiences on camera and being able to now, in a year's time or 5 years' time or 10 years' time, be able to look back on these experiences, because it's kind of like a time capsule, right? Where we have these experiences and then we edit them into, kind of like a little movie or a little documentary, and, we can have those to share with the people that are important to us. So
Yeah, like maybe, let's say you get your hair dyed another color, you're like, oh, that's the time I had
pink hair. Yeah, I had that pink shag haircut. Yeah. What color do you think I should dye my hair next? Blue. Oh.
I think you should get it into, if you want to be emo, get it black. But or get it like
been there, done that.
like a fading blue like a light blue fading down to purple, maybe.
Ooh, like an indigo kind of thing. Yeah, that's really nice. I love that. Well, listen, I feel as though I have taken up so much of your time this evening, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to do this again, you and I, because I'd really like to, you've said so many little Easter eggs of things that are so fascinating about you. Like you've been through chemo, and you talk about you were in school doing a PhD, and you have this incredible career, even though you're juggling, 4 incredible girls. And I think there's so much more of your story that we want to share with all of you. And so with that being said, everybody,
Wait,
this
I
is
have another
you have one more
question.
question. Okay. One more question. Let's make it a quick one.
Okay. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, I'll just hold it.
Thank you for holding. Yes, perfect.
If you could go back in time and change and one thing you did or didn't, what would it be?
Ooh. One thing I did or didn't do. I probably would not have done what I did in school. I started as an English and creative writing major, and then I changed to psychology and gerontology and gender studies. And there was always a part of me when I was young, like your age and a little bit older into high school, where I always said that I wanted to do something creative. But then once I got into my undergrad, I was like, what am I doing? Nothing's going to be able to come out of this. I can't just be, flying by the seat of my pants, being some creative artsy fartsy person. And so I took the advice of other people to say, you should do this, and you should go into healthcare, and you should do that. And so if it were up to me, I probably would have continued doing something creative. And in my early 20s, when I started blogging, I probably never would have stopped blogging because it was really successful. And I stopped doing it because I was worried that it was going to impact my career in healthcare. So I probably would. And believe it or not, back in 2010, whenever I would write a blog, I would record myself reading it like an audio file, and I would attach the audio file to the blog. So I was kind of doing podcasts before podcasts.
Blogs were pre-podcast.
Yeah, like pre-podcast. Before Joe Rogan even. So
back when we could write, and now we just use AI.
Yeah.
Also, what my dad gave me this cool idea of doing when I'm older. So I would go to like nursing school, play hockey until I need to retire from hockey, and then just be like a nurse or something like that after.
I love that. That's so great.
She's very much like helping.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Anything, Mary, you would have done differently or would have chosen differently?
Please
if you had the
answer.
choice?
Oh, that's a slippery slope.
Right?
I try not to think about that.
I know.
Because that drives me bonkers. But I did traveling before I got sick, and I wish I could have continued to do more of that.
More traveling.
Yeah.
Wait, why did you stop?
Because I was sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I had kids.
Oh my goodness. We've got some antsy and the pantsy girls behind this camera on the other side of these camera lenses. So I think we're going to wrap this episode up. This is probably one of the funnest episodes I've ever done. You guys have made me laugh like never before. I appreciate you all very, very much. And as I was starting to say, this is the All of You podcast, where we sit down with all of you. And today we extended the olive branch to the Buck ladies, Mava, Isla, Cicely, and Neela, and their wonderful, incredible, and one of my dearest friends, Mary. Thank you so much, ladies. It's been a slice.
Thank you.
Bye.